Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, and today we are going to learn the function of synapse in this video. So let me give you an overview of synapse. What is this? It is basically a gap in between the two neurons, and it helps the neurotransmitters to move from the presynaptic neuron to the postsynaptic neuron. So we are going to learn what is the importance of synapse in this video. Number one, it transmit information between neurons, which is very obvious. The messages has to be conducted. Second, it act as a unidirectional valve. It doesn't allow the impulse to travel in both directions. Only one direction is allowed. So only the presynaptic neuron has neurotransmitter vesicle. So it act as a one-way valve. It acts as a junction. It connects two neurons, the pores and pre. But keep in mind there are two type of impulses when we talk about the junctions. One is called as the divergence, and the other one is known as convergent junction. Now, as the name indicate, diverge mean one neuron is giving messages or impulses to many, while in converge the messages or the impulses are directed toward the one. Let's go into the detail of this. First of all, what is divergence? A single impulse conveyed to number of different neurons. For example, in your ear, we have a cochlea, which have small hair that vibrate actually to produce sound. So what happened in this one? So in this one, a one neuron or one presynaptic neuron is giving messages to the many postsynaptic neurons. And I've given you an example of this cochlea. The second one is the convergence one. So many are giving messages to a single postsynaptic neuron, and this is found very commonly in our eye when we are receiving light from many angles or from many directions. So all the you can say all the light falls on one, you can say one neuron or one point, and then it is directed to one point, or the signals are directed to one point, that is optic nerve. So it's an example of the convergence. The second one, it filters out low level stimuli. Now, there are some stimuli that are not able to produce the effect. For example, if a bee sits on your clothes, even if you're wearing that shirt, or if it sits on your shirt, you cannot just detect it. Okay, it's sitting. Sometimes when it sits on your skin, you cannot detect it. So these are called as the low level stimuli. While if there are many bees, you can easily detect them. So there is you can say a summative effect of this. So it filters out the low level stimuli. For example, a drone of traffic noise or low frequency impulses produce very small amount of neurotransmitters, may not be sufficient to create a new impulse in postsynaptic neuron. Thus the message is not conducted, you cannot feel anything, you do not show response to anything. Then the second one, the summation. So the low frequency impulses can be made to trigger a new impulse by one or two ways. One of the way is when they together make produce an effect which is enough for the neurotransmitter to trigger an impulse, or when a single presynaptic neuron produces a small amount of neurotransmitter again and again. So the effect got summative, summed up, and it produces the impulse which you can feel. So it prevents the overstimulation of the effector. So it may happen, for example, if it's continued to produce an effect, then what will happen? If you touch something hot, you are going to move your hand back again and again. So it looks weird. So that effects need to be stopped. So it if prevents the overstimulation of effector. With a powerful stimulus, a high frequency of presynaptic impulse releases a lot of neurotransmitter at one time, and that is it. Then the effect is stopped. Eventually, the neurotransmitter release will stop as the supply runs out. The presynaptic neuron is said to be fatigued; it cannot produce any the impulse anymore. Second thing, the last thing is this prevent overstimulation damage to an effector. For example, if it has happened in your eye, for example, if something got in your eye, then you just close your eye and you do it again and again, again and again, and then it caused damage to your eye. So this needs to be stopped. It has to be closed once so that there would be less damage. The very last function is it is thought to be involved in memory and learning. Definitely, we're going to learn through our senses. It's a basic thing. So this is all for the function of synapse. Hope you understand the concept. Do tell me in the comments what you need to learn, what you want me to make videos on, or to explain some question from the past paper, and the video will be shared.